Welcome everyone to the best sports gambling show on the planet. I'm back. Few days on the mend. Listen, big shout out and thank you to everybody that reached out to me. You know I love positivity. You know I respond well to it. And all the comments that I got, I saw the chat. You guys absolutely rock. So thank you so much. I'm feeling great. Just in time. It's going to be a big week for betting. We got a huge slate of MLB games this week. We've got WNBA. We've got the NBA finals starting. We got the NHL finals starting. We got a big pay-per-view in UFC. We've got plays all over the board. We're locked in. Let's attack it. Let's get the week strong. Let's stack some units. Let's make this one count. We got Gianni who's going to start us off. As always, going to show us the Steam report, tell us where all the money is. Krackman's going to join us. MLB prop. And this is an important topic. Betting the dog days of summer. This is a crucial part of the betting year. So we're going to talk to him about that. I'm going to give you a deep dive on some series props for the Thunder and the Pacers. And then Mark Zinno is going to join us, talk a couple of MLB games, Padres, Giants, Twins, Athletics. And then Dan and I are going to break down the one and only Cleveland Browns. And the question is going to be, are the Cleveland Browns going to have more wins or more starting quarterbacks this year? So stay tuned for that. Let's get started. Let's bring in Gianni. Hit the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel. That way you get notified on all these videos when they get released. Gianni, my friend, so good to see you, man. How are you doing on this Monday, sir?
Slow morning.
Oh.
Not much to get to today. Just awaiting college baseball. That usually comes a little later in the day, but that's pretty much what we've been focusing on, that in baseball, and picking up, again, some of those NBA props. Haven't touched game one yet, but what I have seen so far is a little heavier on Indiana. No surprise with a heavy chalk like Oklahoma City is almost a double-digit favorite in game one. So early money, a little bit more on Indiana. And the over, definitely betting the over. And for the series, it's all Indiana. Nobody's laying that chalk. I haven't seen any betting syndicates step up and fire. They may, if the public money keeps coming in and driving this Indiana line down. I've seen that so many times in the past where in a series, a team starts off at minus 600, gets bet down, and then 30 minutes before game one, they come in and take the favorite, even willing to lay minus 400 at times. To do so. So it'll be interesting to see how that series line moves. But so far, the early look seems to be the bettors like the dog. The bettors like the dog for the series, and they like taking those points in game one so far. Again, with the over is what's sticking out in the NBA. Real quickly in the NHL, because I know that's Stanley Cup starting as well. Let me see if I see anything there. Nah, good two-way action. A little slightly heavier on Edmonton, which is what you expect. They're the home team. They're about a minus 130 favorite. You're usually going to see 60-40 in that case, 55-45 as far as the money bet. Usually the ticket count's up around 60%, and that's what we're looking at here with good balance on the over-under. It's at 6. Good two-way action there, so not really much risk for the books. Again, it's early. And I don't think many recreational bettors are tying up their money in the NBA playoffs or in the NHL playoffs this early on. But seeing what they're doing with the games earlier in the week gives you a good idea of what's going to happen later in the week. And what I mean by that is, like, if they're sure they're going to bet Indiana, or if they're sure they're going to bet Edmonton, let's say, they'll start tying in some parlays from baseball into that action. Like, they'll take a big favorite. You know what I mean? Like, you look at today, you have Miami, you have Detroit, you have teams like that, San Francisco. You'll see a lot of parlays tied into later in the week. And so far, what I'm seeing, again, is they're tying these favorites with Indiana. So it looks like the books are probably going to need the favorite, but we'll touch on that more when we get to game day.
Yeah, any big takeaways from the big betting syndicates on how the series ended? Was it good or bad for them? Pacers in 6.
It turned out well. We had Indiana. We had Indiana for the series. Actually bet them after game 2. Laid like minus 500. And I had no problem doing it. I actually, I don't really write analysis. I don't have time because of the volume. But I actually wrote a short analysis when I sent out that play, explaining to them the historical probabilities, how this series is matched up, and how strong Indiana is at home, and now they have home court advantage. And personally, I think that line should be, upwards of -700, 800. And the fact we're getting it at this discount, I'm comfortable betting it. But not a lot of recreational bettors are. They don't want to tie up, 5 units to win one, especially if they're underfunded or they're over betting. So I kind of laid out the reasoning why I'm comfortable doing it, and making sure, not urging my subscribers to tie up a bunch of their bankroll into it. Like, if you're not properly funded, those are probably the bets you should pass on, because the room for error is so slim. Like, you lose a -500, that's a lot of work to make up if you're not properly funded. Now, if you're properly funded and you're bet sizing correctly, it's just another bet. It really doesn't matter. And that's what I was trying to explain in the short analysis, that to me, it's just another plus EV bet. I see a position on the board that's giving me the best of it, I'm going to fire. I don't care what the price is. As long as the price is inefficient, I'm going to bet. If I got to lay 2,000 to win 100, but the true line should be -3,000, I'll do that all day, every day, happily. But again, if you're not at that point yet where you're using this as an investment vehicle and treating it like a business and doing it with discipline and patience, then you probably should avoid the heavy chalk, because that puts you behind. You lose one of them, it puts you way behind. And more importantly, it brings out the demons of, let me get that back, let me chase. You start looking for action that isn't even there. And, that's why I didn't want subscribers to jump on board unless, again, they were going to sound like a broken record, but properly funded and bet sizing correctly. Because I liked Indiana, and it worked out well for us. That whole series went well for us. I laid off the last game. We did bet Indiana, but I just had enough exposure already. There's no reason to add to that. So we just sat back and cashed that ticket on the Pacers.
Yeah, UFC is the only sport that I really live bet. I got to tell you, that Pacers series was absolutely fantastic for live betting. You could just see the pace of that last game was just not going to be good for the Knicks in the second half. And I was just like, keep it close in the second quarter. And you were getting fantastic lines. Do you ever dabble in live betting?
Yeah, in MMA, because I'm watching it. You know what I mean?
It's the best sport to live bet. Make no mistake. It's UFC. That's the best sport to live bet. So you're watching it.
Yeah. And actually, Nick Kalikas, who was original MMA odds maker that I work with now, he turned me on to it and showed me, like, dude, they're just so off with these lines. Like a fighter seems like he lost round 1, and all of a sudden the lines just flip immediately. Like, you could really take advantage of the live betting. And I started dabbling, and I saw exactly what you touched on, that there's just so many opportunities. If you don't have a bias and you're just strictly looking for line value and you don't really care who wins or loses, just placing good bets, they open up all day, every day. So that's the only sport I really dabble with it, unless, like, I'm on the keyboard and I'm working at night and there's, a primetime game on that I have up, then I'll pay attention to the live betting for those opportunities. But it's such time extensive. Like, it's time sensitive. You got to be quick on the draw. And if you have time for it, live betting's where it's at. It's just, you got to put a lot of time and have that patience, and not just keep clicking that button and placing bets, because that's the goal. Like, here in America, they're trying to push it more, but you got to remember, in other countries, live betting's been around for a long time. That's what they do. In fact, my mother lives in Greece. I've been over there many times. And I remember the last time I was there talking to a guy that owned one of the bookshops on this island. And he said, dude, over 9 out of our 10 bets come after the game starts. Like, we don't book much at all before the game.
Wow.
He said, at all. He said, you see, and it was like a World Cup game. It was World Cup when I was there last. It was like right before COVID. I remember, wow, it's been that long. And I remember there was no line there. I was there to bet a World Cup game. And I'm like, nobody's betting. And he goes, no, not until it starts. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, no. He's like, 9 out of 10 bets we get it comes in after the game starts. They do it with soccer. They do it with tennis. They do it with basketball. They wait until the game starts, get a feel for it, and then look to bet. They get some pregame action as well. But he was saying 90% of the action is live. And talking to like Dave Mason and talking to some books that do have a network over there in Europe, they all say the same thing. Most of the betting action there comes live. That's what they're trying to do here because it's nonstop betting opportunities. You know what I mean? Because once you put a side bet or a total bet, you're out of action for 3 hours. But with live betting, they could get you firing away throughout those 3 hours. And the book, when you have a hold, that's all you want. It's kind of like I tell the guys with card counting, if you have an edge, you want to see as many hands as possible. If you even have an edge in sports betting, you want to place as many bets as possible. And it's kind of the same with the book. They know they have a built-in edge. You're laying 11 to win 10, sometimes 12 to win 10 in live betting. And because of that, they just want to book it. That's their goal, to just keep booking it. You have a built-in edge, you're guaranteed winner long-term. You know what I mean? You'll lose here and there, but you know the end result is you're going to be holding the cash. And that's why you want that volume. So I think they keep pushing the live betting. You see what they're pushing, live betting and parlays. That's where that's where they make all their money. Whatever they're promoting, that's where they're making their money.
Live betting, absolutely. Yep. I'm going to ask this question to Krackman, but I want to get your take on this. I think kind of after Memorial Day, we've officially entered the dog days of summer. This is the summer months. I know how I attack it. I'm interested how you attack this. On one hand, you could say, well, less games, less things to handicap, so maybe we can get a bigger edge. On the same time, you may say, well, less games, so we don't have as many opportunities. What's your take on when we enter this crucial part of the betting season?
I like it because it's focused on baseball. You know what I mean? You have that one sport you're focused on, and I even get to lock in a little bit. When you're doing multiple markets, it's a lot harder to lock into any particular sport. The negative to and baseball being such a profitable sport for the betting syndicates, like I said, if I have to only choose one, if someone said, listen, you could only bet one sport, no other sport, and I'd take baseball, even though I haven't watched a 9-inning game that's not playoff in I don't even know how long, where I'll watch MMA every week. And I love betting MMA because, you know, I originate most of my own stuff and then work with some originators. But baseball is just because of the sheer volume and sample size of data that you have makes it a lot more predictable. You could trust it a lot more than in other sports. So I love seeing it because I know those guys are laser focused. But the negative is, the drawback is, you don't have enough money on the other side, meaning that the books are only writing the one side, the sharp side, and there's not enough recreational money to offset that. So you got to be really fast. And you got to be able to confirm whether you know that's manipulation, whether that's a real move, whether you want to bet it, because the lines are going to move significantly and quickly to stop other sharp bettors from placing that same wager because they don't have the heavy recreational money on the other side. See, a book, if they get too much risk on side A, all they have to do is adjust their line and they're going to attract money on side B. You know, 9 out of 10 times. It's an easy job. It's not difficult to do if you want to manage your risk. But when you don't have that market to adjust that line for, that's where it becomes difficult. So it ends up being the sharps versus the books, and that's not a fair fight. Even with their built-in edge, that's just not a fair fight. And they know that. So they adjust very quickly. They adjust significantly. So there's a lot more manipulation. So if you're like a bettor that's still going to bet throughout the season, after the playoffs and into the second half of baseball, as we await, you know, preseason and college football, then you got to, number one, be pretty quick when you fire, and you can't just follow line moves. Like, you can't draw conclusions unless you really have solid information, because there's so much manipulation. They're forced to manipulate the market because they're the market. So to be able to get down money, you have to be able to move the numbers. And that's what you see a lot of that. A lot of the overnights is nothing more than manipulation. A lot of the early stuff is nothing more than manipulation. And that's the negative. That's the negative. But I like it. And then it's even better. Once people start talking preseason, once bettors start talking about college football, then it really opens the floodgates to do damage in baseball as we approach the fall, because all the attention's on football. Like, baseball completely takes a back seat. And even though it's, once again, sharps versus books, they're not as worried about that. They're booking 20, 30, 50x the amount on a, you know, preseason football game that they're going to get on even a Sunday night MLB game. So that's where the benefit is. I like it.
You could see the gleam in your eyes when you talk about baseball and betting it over the summer. So I will just tell you, I've found a love for team totals. It worked in college football.
Stick
MLB
to
and
it.
WNBA has been really good. Tell everyone what you have up at Wager Talk.
All right, already a package. I know it's a slow day, but we already fired. I have a 4% in there, a nice doggy for you. I have a 3% in there as well. I'm still working on the MLB board. A couple steam plays for you guys real quickly. Check out 953 Milwaukee at plus money. They're picking off Milwaukee at plus money. They also went over 7 in San Diego, San Francisco, up to minus 130. They didn't go 7.5. They only went over 7. And they also took the Mets in the late game against the LA Dodgers. Don't forget, I have a $199 special. We have 2 pay-per-views in the UFC coming up this month. We'll be firing away. We got Major League Baseball. We got the NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup. So it's perfect time to jump on board. We're up for the year, still sitting number 1 overall in baseball, and just grinding, man, trying to build that bankroll up so we could be in a great position to really do damage when the fall gets here, because I'm really excited for this year's college football. More than anything else, and NFL as well. So just make that money. Make that money. You're welcome, Block. My pleasure, brother.
Thanks, Gianni. Let's bring in Krackman. Krackman, how are you, sir?
Hey.
I know you got an MLB prop for us. Tell us about MLB and how you handle the betting dog days of summer.
Well, let's first talk about life and betting and sports betting. And I just hung up with one of the guys from WagerTalk, one of the senior guys here, and we're on I jumped off to get on this, and I'm going to jump back on with him. And I said, I'm what I'm doing and what I do, and I tried to explain a little bit more why I don't have plays up first thing in the morning. I work with some of the sharpest guys in the world, just like Gianni. I work with some of the sharpest syndicates in the world, and we don't make our play. Let me be blunt. I'm going to be blunt. We do a lot of manipulation on small market sports, because closer to game time, you can kind of get the right side of that if you manipulate earlier in the mornings and stuff. So not a lot of guys that sell picks are ever going to tell you that, because they can't tell you that. They can't move lines. They can't manipulate lines. They don't even know how to do it. They don't have the bankroll for it, whatever it may be. I'm not downing any individual. I'm just talking about the reason what I do compared to a lot of other handicappers. Now, granted, football season, early Monday morning, they'll be getting a lot of stuff out of me early Monday morning. A lot of those totals will be moving. You got to jump on them fast. There's a lot of those kind of things. So listen, NBA props, baseball props, those kind of things, I'm going to kill them. I'm going to destroy them. It's the reason why I'm thrown out of all the sports books. They don't even take them from me. But as far as sides and totals, Major League Baseball, first fives, I like betting a lot of first fives. I don't really bet too many sides. I'm more of a total guy, even on full game totals. I'm not betting this to have fun or enjoy or cheer and eat popcorn and be in the stands with Cracker Jacks and watch the game. I'm doing this to win money, and that's what I do. I mean, that's the reason why, like I said, I've been thrown out of a lot of sports books. So let me just, I don't mean to come off wrong to first thing in the morning. I'm a little salty this morning about a couple things. And why should I be salty? I've destroyed it. I mean, I've had unbelievable, weeks. I mean, I just went on WagerTalk's thing, and I seen on WagerTalk's record, I see 12-6-2 last week. The week before that, 13-5-2. Like, why am I salty? I just am, because I expect to kill everybody. I expect to kill sports books. And I'm a little bit mad too, because of Monday morning. There's a lot of dissension in the troops when you win too much, and that sounds crazy. I know. I don't mean to sound like that. We don't win every week, but on Sundays you have to mix in some things. I'm trying to tell my guys, you have to mix in some square-looking things to keep the accounts going. Maybe throw in. I hate doing it because I don't bet parlays. Maybe throw in some idiot parlays because we're winning. We're winning on other stuff. You have to show Sunday, NFL Sunday. I don't like betting NFL sides on Sunday. Who can beat it? Nobody. Nobody beats NFL sides betting them on Sunday. Nobody. But early in the week, of course, Sunday night, Monday morning, the week before when the lines come out, but you have to make the accounts look good. You have to bet NFL sides. You have to give them a shot and make it look like, hey, he bets NFL sides. Let's keep that account open. All right, I'm done with my tangent. You wanted to go with the strikeout.
Let's do an MLB prop. You got me fired up, man.
Max Meyer, Miami Marlins total strikeouts over 6.5. Look at the current line here. It's still minus 110, 115. This is more of a Rockies fade than anything. Meyer has an elite strikeout record, 24%, 28% whiff rate this season. But the real reason to play this is the Rockies, who are one of the worst teams in the history of MLB. I expect Meyer to rebound from his last bad start against the Padres, get into late innings here this game with a ton of strikeout opportunities. And that's where you have to, the Rockies are so bad. I know a bookmaker, old school bookmaker from back East Long Island, called me up and said a week ago, Crack, I really want to stop booking Rockies. And he said White Sox, 2 games. I want to tell my place to stop putting the games up. And I tried to tell him, he's an old school Jewish guy. I said, but listen to me. You're laying 4-1. You're minus 4-1. Come back 3-1. The juice is there. You're going to get the money in the end. I know the Rockies are terrible. You can't take the Rockies off the board. But anyway, bookmakers, they all cry when they have a couple losing days anyway.
Great prop. Love it. We talked to Gianni about the dog days of summer. It's the build up to football. How do you approach this stretch?
I actually really enjoy the grind, the summer grind, the dog's day of summer. I really don't slow down. Even yesterday, I was over sweating my co-host of my podcast. He was playing at the World Series of Poker, which, that's a one and done for me going over there with those guys. But yeah, so I was over there and I was still have my iPad out, 2 phones out, betting some stuff, betting first five totals. I set up shop like away from him for a while because I knew I had to look at some stuff. Major League Baseball, it's one of my favorite grinds, and I'm like I said, I'm playing a lot of those first fives totals, some sides, pitcher props each day, but I'm also involved in a lot of other sports over the summer too. I'm playing college baseball, which I just told Gianni that I was going to start putting up because college baseball totals, we're not going to lose on them. I mean, even though we started out on fire, I could have said that before. It's every year if the books take college baseball totals. I know Gianni does good with that too. I'm also doing WNBA every day, hitting mostly a lot of player props there, mixing in some totals and sides. But I can't bet the player props. I can't bet them. This is the first thing I'm going to tell you guys ever. I think I always say I bet what I give out. I cannot bet those player props because if I'm betting the $200-300 that they take, well then what happens? I know they're going to overmove. They're going to ban me. They're going to maybe even take them off the board. I know what happens. We beat the NBA and NFL drafts. We beat the hell out of them the last couple of years. This year, you couldn't even bet on them. Peanuts. So I'd rather give them to the customers. If they win, I win in the long term because they'll stay with me. Doing a lot of those. I play a lot of PGA stuff too. I get great information off the golf course. Great information. I'm friends with a lot of caddies. I've had them on my shows. Mostly head-to-head matchups I play. We also have NBA, like I said. There's a draft coming up in a couple of weeks. I've made some giant scores. Listen, I literally bought properties off of a draft when I had Banchero. I gave that out everywhere I was on. Gave it out on my sites, and Banchero was great. But I can't even bet the draft anymore. The NFL draft, they were taking $300 bet. By the way, Las Vegas cannot bet NFL draft props day of the draft. They stopped that. So it's just the days before. NBA, same thing, days before. Other jurisdictions, of course, you have the DraftKings, FanDuel, MGM, Caesars. You can bet them. But so we are going to have them for the customers. I've had some, like I said, big scores there. NBA down to the finals doesn't mean we're stopping, though. We still do some props there. Football starts in a couple months. Very active summer grind for me. Betting is my life, 24/7, so 365. Someone asked me the other day, are you ever going to stop? Like, is there ever a day? No, I'll be betting until I'm gone. And I love the thrill. I love making the sports book sweat too. I do. And if I bet in an account under my name, they sweat like Italians on the witness stand.
Tell them what you have up for clients of WagerTalk.
Yeah, I went over to the WagerTalk, and you'll find me there. You have to just search for me. The all-inclusive thing for the year. I just told Gianni on the phone. I've been selling for $500 a month, tons of packages on my previous site, and now they have this all-inclusive here for $19.99. which is less than $200 a month. However, then they have it just $11.88. Some Packers, I guess you have to pay now. So whatever it is, that's an unbelievable package. Listen, you guys buy that. Wait till you see what happens NFL season. That's all I'll say. Wait till you see what happens preseason. Wait till you see what happens where, we're going to win. We're going to grind out. I'm even going to give my NFL sides this year on Monday mornings, maybe even Tuesday mornings, depending on some market stuff. And like I said, preseason stuff. It's a great. You can just go back and look at it. We're very transparent. Just go back and look at the plays the last couple of weeks alone. They're all there for your looking. So anyway, we got a lot of stuff up here. We're gonna have a lot more stuff. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. And like I said, I do things a little bit different. I said it on the beginning. I do things different. I don't put up a ton of stuff in the morning and then just watch the lines stay the same the entire day. No. If you want syndicate stuff, if you want plays that are going to be syndicate plays, which means they don't wait. They don't say, oh, well, I have to put them up on WagerTalk early in the morning. No, they come in when they come in. They come in when things are maybe manipulated. I'm not saying every play I have is a manipulated play. There's a lot of them in there, though. So that's the way I do my handicapping. That's the way I've been throwing on many sports books, using my brain. That's the way we're going to win together.
Love it. Krackman. Nobody does it better, my friend. Thank you so much. And appreciate you reaching out to me on Twitter. That meant a lot. So let's bring in Mark Zinno, who was highly offended.
Yeah, I'm not even going to lie. I don't know an Italian who sweats on the witness stand. And as a 100% Italian, I'm actually a little bit irritated right now. So you already got me off on the wrong foot. That's like just not something that we do. We don't sweat on the witness stand. Number one, we also don't go to the witness stand ever.
We learn life lessons on this show, not just handicapping.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. There's 100 other people who would sweat on a witness stand. What would you pick the Italians for? Makes no sense. All right, let's move on. Sorry,
let's move on. Let's talk Padres and Giants. Kolek for Padres, Webb for Sam Fran. Listen, Webb has been good. He's getting no run support. It's really strange. Look at some of these games he's pitched well in. And the Giants are putting up 0 runs. How do you break this game down today?
Well, it's interesting. Look, the idea that the San Francisco Giants are nearly a $2 favorite after what they just showed in Miami this weekend is almost laughable to me. Like, that feels like a really bad number. Logan Webb, second best FIP in all of baseball behind Tariq Skubal. Kind of got to dive into this a little bit deeper here, Andy. Let's look at the lineups he's faced, particularly at home, where his ERA is a minuscule 1.3. Royals can't hit. Athletics can't hit. Colorado can't hit. Cincinnati can't hit. The only legitimate lineup that he's faced at home this year is the Brewers. Now, granted, he went 6 1/3 and gave up no runs, but he's kind of been really fortunate. I mean, across the board, other than that, the only other 2 legitimate lineups he's faced this year are the Yankees and Detroit, and they both touched him up for 3 runs each. So I look at this and I go, the Padres, and again, their offensive performance this weekend against the Pittsburgh Pirates was it was bad. They had 5 hits through the first 2 games until they broke out of it on Sunday. Nonetheless, there's a Padres team that's better on the road offensively than they are at home. They are very good at hitting the baseball. And so I think they're going to put runners on. By the way, Luis Ariz has a career .610 average against Logan Webb. If you want to look to a prop, see if you can get Luis Ariz over 1.5 total bases. Think you might get it here early in this game. But again, a Giants offense that's Stephen Kolek, who's been pretty good this year on the road. Smaller sample size. He's got a 1.33 ERA on the road this year. Giants offense that's 23rd in Major League Baseball in run scoring at home. And oh, by the way, the Giants have scored the fewest runs in baseball over the last 2 weeks, 23 of them. So I'm going to take the Padres here in this game and take some plus money.
Can't argue with you on that one. Now, I can't wait to hear your breakdown of this. Twins versus the Athletics. Now, Mark, to say the Athletics got their teeth kicked in by Toronto would be an understatement.
Yeah.
39 runs in 4 games. I tried to find, is there a 4-game series that had more runs given up by one team? I couldn't. They're now 1-17 their last 18. You got Ryan for the Twins, Severino for the Athletics. We did great in the Athletic series. We were just betting Toronto team totals over easy cashes. Do you have the plums to bet on the Athletics at this point in the season, Mark?
Situationally, yes. Again, remember they granted, I think it was in the ninth inning, they hit a 2-run homer to make it a 1-run game and cover the run line in that 8-7 game, which was on Friday or Saturday. I can't remember whichever one it was, but look, they can still score. And they still hit the ball decently well. But the big thing here about this matchup is the huge pitching advantage in favor of Minnesota, who has Joe Ryan starting, who has only had one outing on the road out of 6 where he's allowed more than 1 run. It was against the Mets. He got rocked around, but other than that, he's been pretty good against some pretty good lineups on the road this year. Luis Severino's been terrible at home. The home road splits are awful. He's got a 0.87 ERA on the road, but a 6.20 ERA at home. And the A's have won just 2 of his 7 starts. All 4 home runs Severino's allowed this year have been in Sacramento. The Twins have hit the 9th most homers in baseball on the road this season. The real hard part about this, honestly, is what do you want to do as far as, first 5 or full game? Because you don't really want to leave the A's bullpen, which has got the second highest bullpen ERA, out of this whole thing. Here's the rub, though, and this is something you have to be aware of. I don't know how you feel about these kind of stats. I'm a big believer in it, in run support. I can't explain why certain pitchers, certain years get more runs than they did the year before or the year after. Like, there's no really rhyme or reason to it, but I believe it's a thing. Every 5th day, a guy goes on the mound, and for whatever reason, the bats all click and the guys score runs. It's real. Joe Ryan gets some of the worst run support in all of baseball, just 2.5 runs per game per start. And he's got a 2.33 ERA, which is why the Twins are 5-5 with him on the mound. So there is some danger here. But again, you have to hope that this is an Athletics pitching staff tonight with Severino on the mound who's going to get rocked early. I mean, it's one of those things, in my opinion, if the Twins ain't scoring early, they probably ain't scoring late, and they're just not going to hit, period. But you kind of have to leave the A's bullpen involved in this whole thing. We're getting towards a number here, in the high 160s that is uncomfortable to bet. I don't know if I'd like the team total. That's why I think if you do the first half on the run line, might be the best way to attack this thing from a price standpoint, Andy.
Love it. You have such a great show with Brian Power. It's been like one of the hidden gems. It's so great. So tell us about that and tell us what you have up for clients up at WagerTalk.
Yeah, the morning wager's up every day. Listen, we tell everybody no one's immune from catching strays on the morning wager, including the 2 people who are on it. So we have a lot of fun. We give you guys some picks. We'll start coming up once we get through the NBA and the NBA finals. We're going to start to preview every NFL team's win total and make the playoff props. So we will continue to start talking football with you guys. But morning wager is a ton of fun. Check it out every morning here on WagerTalk TV, on WagerTalk YouTube. We have 3 plays. Hey, look at this. Don't see these guys are jumping in the comment section here. We Andy, I'll tell you this right now. Okay, I am a wham bam, thank you, ma'am, handicapper. Okay, I want short-term relationships. I don't want anybody to get involved in a year. I want no part of this. I can't deal with the pressure. The people who watch the morning wager know this. They are absolutely just ribbing at me now because nobody should be that committed to me ever. It's why I'm single. It's why I have an ex-wife. So nonetheless, let's get back to what we have at the site. 3 plays in Major League Baseball tonight. We've been running pretty good at Major League Baseball here since May 9th. We're over 60%. So we've turned the corner after a bad April, but we're back at it. So we'll get 3 plays on the Major League Baseball site tonight, WT.buzz/MZ.
Mark, I just love listening to you, man. Thank you so much. Hope to have
You're
you
the
on.
only one.
Thanks for filling in for Brian Power. Mark Zinno, everybody. Yeah, wham bam. Thank you, man.
That was uncalled for.
Ouch. Ow. Well, somebody
best season in 25 years, Andy, and the guy's got to take shots. Best season in 25 years.
Well, I'm from Indianapolis, so that was a great series for us. And listen, it was who gets the honor of getting killed by the Thunder. I mean,
fair, but here's the thing. I said this last night when I was on ESPN. Like, look, if they would have lost to Boston, I'd take it better. If they would have lost to Cleveland, just don't lose to the Pacers. Like, don't just this. I mean, this franchise is the ultimate thorn in the Knicks side. Like, not the Pacers. You didn't do all the work to get past Boston to lose to the Pacers. Come on.
From a Knicks fan, a Pacers fan, it's the worst. When you lose to when we lose to you, it's awful. Yeah, when you lose to us, it's awful. So I think that's 6 out of 7 series that we won. So it's not a rivalry
4 straight.
Anymore.
4 straight. They've lost Indiana. I'm all choked up. I'm like, 4 straight. So
well, the good news, I like your team. I think you guys are going to be just fine. So thanks for joining us, Mark. Appreciate
you. Got it, brother.
Catching
Thank
with
you.
Brian Power every morning. So All right, let's bring in Dan. We're going to talk about the Browns. Before we do that, guys, hit the like button. Come on, please hit the like button. It's my first day back in a couple of days. And also subscribe to the channel. We got tons of breakdown videos. I'm going to do a Thunder and Pacers breakdown later this afternoon. So let's talk about the Browns. Leave us a comment. What do you think of the Browns? Yeah, pretty bad.
It smells in here. Why is that? Oh,
Smells
it's
like
because
Cleveland
we have
Browns.
this to break down. Yeah.
All right, so the Cleveland Browns 5.5 wins here, and the big question is, will they have more wins or more different quarterbacks starting for them this season? What do you think?
I mean, that would be one hell of a prop bet, honestly, because it's funny. They have like 4 or 5 quarterbacks on roster, and that's right around where they're lined. I was checking out, and there has been absolutely nobody betting the over for the Cleveland Browns, at least thus far. Not really surprising, but even when you shop around, Andy, you're seeing some even 4.5s in some spots already, with the juice towards the over at that money or at that number. For me, man, sitting at 5.5 wins, dude. I mean, new offensive coordinator for this team. So you figure, former coach of the year, Stefanski, probably going to be calling a couple more plays than he would maybe be adept to. The biggest thing that stands out to me outside of personnel, outside of all the major questions that this team has, is the fact that the schedule is brutal for this team. Typically, when you're finishing last, you're like, oh, thank God we get a last place schedule. Yeah, well, they have to play the NFC North this season, and they have to play the 3 best teams in that division in weeks 3, 4, and 5. You got the Lions, you got the Packers, and you got the Vikings there. So that's just an absolute brutal start to the season, and that's after you open up taking on the Bengals and at the Ravens. I mean, that is just an awful start to the year, in my opinion, Andy. And this is a team, right? They're going to be dogs in every single game this year. They're probably going to be sizable dogs in every single game this year. And just kicked off today. You can check it out on the YouTube channel, the opening line report. Teddy covers Drew Martin. It is a wealth of information. I was taking notes feverishly, Andy, because they're talking about strength of schedules. They're talking about rest differentials and what a difference that makes when you're betting and taking, season win totals over and under. Well, this Browns team, according to Teddy Covers on that fine program that you can see right here on the WagerTalk TV YouTube channel, hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Second hardest strength of schedule in the NFL is this Cleveland Browns team. Andy, they are top 5 in the worst rest differential. So that means they're not going to be well rested, already playing one of the hardest schedules in the league. New offensive coordinator, more quarterbacks than they know what to do with, a team with zero direction. Andy, I said it when we talk about these season win totals. They're not things I typically bet because I don't want the books to hold on to my money for an entire season. I might let the books hold on to my money betting the under on this because they won't hold it for the entire season, because this one could cash pretty early in the season. I think it is going to be very tough for the Cleveland Browns to find 6 wins here, man. I don't see it. What do you think about this Cleveland Browns team? If the prop is how many starting quarterbacks versus wins, I might make the starting quarterbacks a slight favorite in that prop, Andy. What are you thinking when you see this Browns team? Because I don't know how, with any confidence, you could be looking towards an over, even at that 4.5 number that we've seen float out there.
I think they have 0-6 written all over them.
I completely agree.
Cincy, Baltimore, Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota, overseas, at Pittsburgh. You want to talk about low morale after that? 0-6. I found something funny here, Dan. Pro Football Focus did an article where they had the top 3 players on each team. David Njoku made it. Now, nice player. He can't be a top 3 player on your team.
It's not ideal.
It's a little rough. No.
It's not ideal.
I'd love to have him on fantasy, but I can't have him be a top 3 guy on my team. This is an easy under for me at 5.5 wins. This isn't even I don't see 6 wins at all. I mean, after their bye, at Jets, Baltimore, at Vegas. There's a couple wins, but then San Fran, at Chicago, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Cincy to close it out. This is awful. We did the Patriots, Eagles, and Colts. This is my favorite play out of the teams that we've done.
Yeah, I would agree,
5.5.
Andy. Like I don't bet season win totals typically. I love breaking them down because it gives you a great starting point of the season. That's why I love what we're doing here. We're breaking down every single team, and you can comment below which ones you want to hear about because we got our man Sean Michael saying, "What are we doing talking about the Browns?" Well, Sean, people commented. You want us to talk about the team you want? Drop it in the comments below, big dog. Come on, brother.
Yeah,
but he is
absolutely.
right. Browns stink, go under could have been the name of the segment, and then we just
listen. Hey, listen. We said it in the chat. I'm not happy about talking about the Browns either, but we got to do.
No, I don't want to do this.
And believe it or not, this was one of them that they asked us to do. So you want us to do another team? Let us know, and Dan and I will break it down. So yeah, easy under. We are unanimous in that. So
yeah, Andy, nice to have you back, brother. Great work.
It's good to be back. I got a little excited. Full disclosure, we're all about transparency. I got a little lightheaded at the beginning of the show. I got a little excited.
Yeah, I thought we were going to call in Vaughn out of the bullpen. I was ready to go. I set up the whole, I got the light on. I was like, oh shit, I might have to host for Andy. Andy might go down on this show.
Shoulder.
So folks, if you haven't hit the like button yet, Andy put his life on the line just to bring you this show. You don't know what goes on behind the scenes. Hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Do it for this man alongside me. If you don't, that's ridiculous. Come on, guys.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. It's great to be back. We do have a 5% UFC best bet that is up. We are number 1 in MMA profits, still holding strong on that. And we're going to do a Pacers and Thunder breakdown series, and we're going to do a team total special on that video. Team totals are on a 19-3 run. I've talked about this over the last week. We've discovered a nice little hole in the market and is team totals. Those of you that follow us on our college football plays know we're hitting over 60% the last 2 years. We've done absolutely fantastic on WNBA and MLB this year, 15-6 combined in those two. So we're going to run a team total special, 30 days for only $149. I would expect 4 to 5 plays per week. This is a market we're going to attack. We talked to Krackman and Gianni about the dog days of summer. This is what we're going to attack, is these team totals. I just love them. The markets are soft on these, and you only need to find 1 or 2 per day. So you want to take advantage of team totals? Absolutely. This is what we're going to be betting hard with our own money. But if you're interested in UFC, we got a big pay-per-view, 5% best bet that is up, number 1 in MMA profits in 2025. All right, first day back. It was great. So glad to see you guys. Thank you so much in the chat. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, leave us a comment. Tell us which NFL team that you want us to do next. Thanks so much for joining us, and we're going to get after it again tomorrow on WagerTalk Today. Take care.